Hi.
Alright, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook. Y'all, just this whole setting right now could not be more perfect. It is literally snowing right now. And if you're not aware, I live in Texas, Dallas, Texas to be specific. And there are like flurries happening outside my window. My cats are just like enthralled and it's just perfectly setting the scene for what we are about to do. I am giving you 10 books that you absolutely have to read this winter. This is my winter book recommendation video, long awaited, but guys, I have a couple of books that I'm gonna talk about today that are some of my absolute favorites of all time. I'm also talking about several that you can find on Kindle Unlimited, which I know you Kindle girlies, you're like, please don't make me spend any more money on books. I am gonna warn you though, several of the books I'm gonna talk about are so good that you're probably, if you're neurotic like me, you're probably gonna go and buy the physical versions anyway after you read it on Kindle, because that's just what happens. I do wanna say all of these books are just good generally for the entire winter season, but I do wanna start out talking about the two books that are really like specifically Christmas focused, because I know the holiday is just in a few days. I'm a little late on this, but you know, if you're traveling, if you're gonna be on the road, if you just need to slip away from your crazy family for a little while and need some alone time, I would highly recommend knocking at least one, if not both of these books out, because they were just so good. But yeah guys, I'm super excited to talk to you about all of these. Let's just get into it. So the first book, I actually just read a couple of days ago, and when I say I read it, I sat my butt on this couch and I was like, let me just like casually start this little book. It'll be cute for Christmas. Read the entire thing in one sitting. I kept saying, oh, at 20% I'll get up. Oh, at 50% I'll get up. Oh, I'll just read to 75 and then I'll stop for the night. No, I sat there until 1:30 in the morning and I finished the entire thing because I couldn't put it down. It was so freaking cute. It actually just came out like recently over the last month, so hopefully you haven't heard of it. I am making it my personal mission to like scream about this book to the world. It is Baggage Claim by Juliana Smith. This story follows this girl named Olive, and the story takes place starting out on a plane. Olive is on a plane going back home to Colorado to spend Christmas with her family, and you can tell she's very anxious about it. Obviously something happened. The last time she was home, she hasn't been home in 3 years. There is some tension between her and her family. She's just very stressed, very anxious, and that entire situation is not made any better whenever this man sits down next to her and just insists on talking her ear off. She turns to look at him though, and obviously he is the most beautiful man she has ever seen, as it happens in these books. She's very uptight. Olive is not a person to like share her business. She doesn't have any interest in talking to him. She's too focused on what she's about to face back home. But this man, Finn, is very determined to figure out what's going on with Olive. So he buys her a drink to soothe her nerves, and then 5 drinks later, they are drunk on this plane, and Olive is opening up to him a little bit more, letting him know that the reason she is so stressed to go home is because she might have let it slip to her parents that she has a boyfriend, because they keep trying to set her up with boys. They keep asking like why she's in a relationship. So she finally just told her mother like, I have a boyfriend. So her mom's like, great, bring him home for Christmas. Plot twist, as you can assume, she doesn't actually have a boyfriend. So Finn, being the little golden retriever that he is like, okay, Aspen's my home. I'm just going home for the holidays. I don't really have anything else to do. Let me be your fake boyfriend. And Olive is obviously like, stranger danger. No, I don't know you. Is resistant at first. Obviously, that's what ends up happening. He ends up pretending to be her fake boyfriend, coming home, wooing her family, you know, trying to put on a show for them, trying to help her through the rough holidays. And guys, this story was just so freaking cute. Like the banter between them two. Some of the quotes that Finn said in this story are like, I'm still thinking about them. Like I was just smiling so hard, kicking my feet in the air. Like it was just so cute. And also like I love like the family drama within like holiday stories. Like it just feels very real. You know, the holidays, as cute as they may seem, they're always a little rough when all the family gets together. And so just seeing like everything that Olive has been through, seeing how Finn gets to like experience that for the first time, and just like the plot twist of it all, I will say, I kind of guessed really early on, but still through and through, I love this entire story. Like it had me so engaged, and just the cover, it's so freaking cute. You just need it in your life. It's so good. Read it before Christmas, I'm telling you. Okay, so the next Christmassy recommendation that I want to give that you absolutely have to get in before the holidays are over, because this was just such a good book. It is The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart. This story follows this girl named Whitney that is in her late 30s. She has never married, she's never had kids, she's just been very like career focused. She absolutely loves her nieces and nephews, but she's just kind of accepted that she's probably gonna be alone in life. Is the simple way to put it. So this story follows Whitney as she is going home to spend the holidays with her family. And she doesn't get to see them very often because she is very focused on work. She has a brother and a sister that are both married and have kids. So she's going home to spend the holidays with all of them, with her parents. And she just thinks this is gonna be a normal holiday season. She's just gonna chill, but that's not the case because she learns that her brother is actually bringing one of his coworkers home for Christmas because both of his parents have passed away. He doesn't have any family and he was just planning on spending Christmas alone. And her brother is like, you're not doing that. Come to my family's house for Christmas. And her family is very gracious. So like this isn't like that out of the ordinary, but Whitney is still like, okay, kind of weird. But things get a whole lot more weird when this boy shows up and it turns out to be Eli, Whitney's first love, college boyfriend, the man that basically ripped her heart out of her chest, broke it in two, and hasn't spoken to her in nearly 20 years. It's just too perfect, right? It's a crazy situation. Obviously, she's like, what on earth? Like, how did this happen? How did you end up here? Like, you cannot be here, but like, it's the holidays. We have to be nice. You can't tell him to leave. He doesn't have anywhere else to go, right? So very like forced proximity kind of moment because it is Christmas, it is the holidays, they are stuck together in this house for an extended period of time, and it just gets so interesting because you obviously see like the tension between them present day, but the story does turn to dual point of view, so we do get to see inside of Whitney's head, we do get to see inside of Eli's head, and then we also flash back to the past. So we get to see like the first time that they met in college, like what they thought of each other, like as their relationship continued to like bloom and grow and then ultimately like fall apart, while we're also seeing present day, now them as like full-blown adults, neither one of them having ever married or had kids or anything like that, and they're obviously reuniting now present day. And so I just love a story like this. Like if you guys have been watching my channel for any amount of time, you know I love a book where it's like friends to strangers to lovers kind of moment, where it's like they lost connection in the past and now present day we're trying to figure it out, like put the pieces together of like what went wrong, and then they're reuniting, and then at the end it's just like fireworks and butterflies and rainbows. This story was so good. Like I loved the romance aspect of it, but it also was just like a book that touched on like every aspect of like family and relationship issues and just like so many good like life lessons. Like there was just so much going on. It felt so relatable and raw and real, and once it got spicy, let me tell you, oh my god, so freaking good. So good. Everything about this book, like it is like the ultimate holiday book. Like if I recommend anybody to read a book for Christmas, like it would be this. So definitely, again, it's on Kindle Unlimited. Go check it out. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is one that is so underrated. I read it at the very beginning of this year, I want to say in January, and I have not seen a single other person talk about it since, and obviously that's just not right because I'm still thinking about it and y'all need to go read it. This is another lovely little Kindle Unlimited book. It is called Ride by Harper Dallas. And this story follows this girl named Brooke that is a photographer. Her dream in life is to be a live action sports photographer, and she has been just like going through it lately. She's been struggling. She hasn't been able to get very many jobs. Like she's just been in a rough run of it. And basically her best friend ends up reaching out to her and is like, Brooke, you need to chill. You need a vacation. You need to get away from it all. Let me fly you out to where I'm currently staying in Switzerland. Join the end of my vacation, and then you can go back to the real world, get back to your real life and all of your struggles. And Brooke is very hesitant, but obviously she ends up agreeing. So she goes out to Switzerland, and right upon getting there, she's in the airport in baggage claim. She goes to reach for her bag on the little conveyor belt thing, and somebody else grabs it at the same time. And she pretty much loses her mind when she looks up and realizes the person that is grabbing her bag is none other than Chase Austin, the most famous snowboarder in the world and the man that she has had posters of in her room since she was a child. Like this man is like her ultimate celebrity crush, her ultimate idol. Like she's a snowboarder herself. She's always looked up to him, but more than anything, like he is her dream client. Like she has dreamed of photographing someone like Chase Austin. So like she's completely starstruck. But of course, that quickly goes away as Chase Austin turns out to be a total womanizing jerk. Like, they do not get off to a good start right away. She's just like crushed because she's like, wow, I've been obsessed with this man my entire life and he is a complete douchebag, basically. So they go their separate ways, but you know, they're all there for the same reason. They're there for this snowboarding competition, so they obviously end up running into each other over and over. And basically, long story short, his team he's on, his snowboarding team, has lost their photographer and they're in desperate need of a new one. And it just so happens that Brooke is right there and she is a photographer. And despite the fact that Chase is not about the idea, they need her. Brooke is very hesitant to do this because obviously she doesn't really want to work with Chase now that she realizes how he is. But at the same time, she has to think about the fact that like getting to photograph Chase and his team will like skyrocket her career. Like, this is the big break she has been looking for. So she has to like set aside her feelings and emotions and just like be there and do her job. So that is what this story is about. Enemies to lovers workplace romance is basically my favorite trope of all time, and it was done so well in this story. Like, the tension between the two of them, again, kind of like forced proximity aspect because they have to be around each other all the time. The snowboarding, the like winter setting, you know, the whole like backstory when we get to really learn about Chase and like what he's been through and why he is the way he is. Like, it was just so freaking perfect. I absolutely love this book and I am just like dying for more people to talk about it. So seriously, go check it out. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is one that I just read recently, but it has so rapidly skyrocketed to one of my absolute favorite reads of this entire year, if not just like ever. It is Him by Sarina Bowen and Elle Kennedy. And if you recognize the name Elle Kennedy, she is the author of the Off-Campus series / Briar U series. And if you're a fan of that series, which don't get me wrong, I am as well, I'm just here to tell you, this is a hockey romance, but a million times better. It's in like a whole different stratosphere. That's how good it is. Like, it just blew my mind. Basically, this story is an MM romance between this boy named Wes and this guy named Jamie. They pretty much grew up together every single summer going to this super elite hockey camp in Lake Placid, New York. They would spend every summer together. They would room together in the same cabin. They would just play hockey every single day. Throughout the year, they would stay in touch. They would text, call each other, send each other gifts in the mail. Like, they were just the absolute closest of friends until their final summer in camp together. There was one night where things between them just like got a little weird. Something happened and basically they have not spoken since. They completely lost connection. Just bam, two totally separate ways. But now the two of them are reuniting to actually coach together at this hockey camp. And oh my God, it is so good. We obviously see like present day what is going on with them now, but we do get flashbacks to the past. We do get to kind of lead up to what ultimately happened that night that sent them their separate ways. But y'all, the story is so good. Like, the tension is good, the spice is insane, but just like, it was so cute. Like, butterflies and rainbows. Like, I love these two boys with my entire heart. Like, it literally makes my heart explode just like thinking about this book. Like, so good. Every single second of it, so good. I never once was bored. Like, just so obsessed. If you're into hockey romances, if you're into MM romances, or you're just trying to dip your toe into them, because I really haven't read that many, but this one, oh my God, so freaking good. Okay, while we're on the subject of hockey romances, I feel like I just have to talk about the book that everybody and their mother is currently talking about. It is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I'm still just not over this adorable cover. Literally every time I look at it, I just have to smile. This story follows this boy named Nathan and this girl named Anastasia. They both go to the same college together. They are both athletes. Nathan is the captain of the hockey team and Anastasia is a figure skater. So basically at the start of the story, we learn that there has been some sort of accident and basically the boys' hockey rink is out of commission. It has melted. It is a swimming pool. They cannot use it. So now the hockey team and the figure skating team are going to have to share ice time together. And whenever this meeting is called so the student athletes can learn about this, Nathan right away sees Anastasia across the room. She catches his eye because she is livid. She is in the process of training for a big competition. She's trying to get to the Olympics this year. Like, she does not have time for this. She needs all the ice time she can get. So Nathan right away approaches her, being just like total sunshine little golden retriever boy, and is like, hey, I'm really sorry this is happening, but you know, we'll work it out. Like, it'd be best if we could just be friends. Like, we'll try our best to like make this work. And she is just like not interested in him whatsoever. She's like, sorry, who are you? Like, why are you speaking to me? Like, get out of my face. Just not about it. So of course that makes Nathan 100% more about her. So basically their paths end up crossing over and over after this, because they are having to share the ice rink together, and now they just see each other out and about, and Nathan is absolutely determined to make this girl like him, even though it is the last thing she wants to do. She has zero time in her day for this boy for anything other than figure skating and keeping her diet on track and school and everything else, therapy, all the things she has to do. She lives her entire life like by a planner, and she doesn't have a spare minute to include this boy, but he is determined to wiggle his way in. And that is basically what this story is about. Don't let the cover deceive you. This book is so spicy and so good, so cute. There's a lot to it. It's gonna be an entire series, and honestly, I just feel like it's a way better version of Off Campus. Like, I feel like I'm slandering Off Campus a lot in this video. Like, don't get me wrong, Garrett Graham is one of my all-time ultimate book boyfriends, but if you're a fan of Off Campus, you need this. I'm so excited for the next book in this series to come out. I'm gonna eat it up. All right, let's jump back to another Kindle Unlimited book recommendation. This is another one that I just read recently and I really loved so much, and it's just so perfect for the winter vibes. It is Forever Never by Lucy Score. This entire story takes place in Mackinac Island off of Michigan, where it is just completely snowed in. There's no cars allowed on this island. Like, it is just like below 0 degrees all the time, snowing, blizzard. Like, that is the whole setting, so it just makes it so perfect for winter. But basically this story follows this girl named Remy and this guy named Brick. Remy and Brick have had a very tumultuous relationship their entire life. Brick is several years older than Remy, but they did grow up together, and they just have always been around each other. And Remy has always been like in love with Brick, but Brick, there's just been a lot of complications. Like, he's been older than her, and you know, she was best friends with his little brother. At one time she even dated his little brother. He dated her best friend. Like, it was just always like never the right time for them. Like, there was just always something in the way, but they've always just been like around each other, and also kind of just like bickering at each other's throats. Like, it's always been like right person, but just like wrong time, and every other thing that could possibly go wrong has gone wrong. So they've never actually like been together. Nothing's happened between them, but it's just always been in the back of both of their minds that they're just like obsessed with each other. But yeah, basically, like, time has gone on. Remy eventually grew up. She went off to college. She ended up moving to the city, New York City, I believe, or Chicago, one of the big ones. And she ended up becoming like a super famous painter, a super famous artist, like making hundreds of thousands of dollars for her paintings. So she's just been like completely off in her own world, doing her own thing. And in that time, Brick has, like, for the most part, managed to move on from her. Like, he hasn't, you know, he thinks about her all the time, but also he's like, all right, it's just not gonna happen. She's out of my life, whatever. Until Remy comes just like storming back into his life. She shows up on this island in the dead of winter, which is not normal. And, you know, he just sees her right away because it's a small town. He can't avoid her. And, you know, he's a little bit confused why she's here. It seems like she's come all of a sudden. Something clearly went wrong, has caused her to flee the city and come back home to her island. Clearly, like, Remy is not letting on everything. Like, she's keeping a lot hidden, and Brick is determined to figure out what is going on with her, why she's back here, but also trying to avoid just like his undeniable attraction to her. And she is also trying to deny like the urge to just like rip his clothes off every single time she sees him. Like, it is just such a like bantery, bickery, just like angsty enemies to lovers sort of situation. But it is just so good because it's like what's gone on between the two of them has been so drawn out for so long. And again, it's just been so many situations where they both, like, one of them has wanted the other, but like something's in the way. Like, it's just one of those stories which I just like eat up. And we actually do get to flash back and see a lot of the past between them. This book was really long. It was like 600 pages, and honestly, it reminded me a lot of a Mariana Zapata book. Like, it's just very slow burn. Like, even though it's angsty and like there's a lot happening and a lot of back and forth between them, like, it takes a really long time before we get any any physical touch whatsoever, and even once we start to get it, like things are just always in the way. Like it's one of those books, which I know that drives some people crazy, but I'm honestly a big fan of it. Like keep me on the edge of my seat till like as far as you can, because don't you worry, once the spice gets going, like it doesn't stop. It was so good, so worth the wait. And this just felt like a very like comfy read. Like again, it just reminded me of Mariana Zapata. It's like one of those stories where you're kind of reading like all the details, all the day-to-day, like all the kind of like mundane things that normally like most authors leave out, but they just have a way of like including all those things and keeping it like so interesting. I just really love this book. Like it was just really good. I haven't really seen many people talk about it, so check it out. And while we are on the subject of Mariana Zapata, I would be doing you guys an absolute disservice to not talk about these two babies. Let's start with this one, which just is my like ultimate baby. This is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. All roads lead here. Ugh, my heart just hurts thinking about it. This story follows this girl named Aurora that has just gone through a divorce. She's broken up from this man that she's been with for over a decade. You know, she's like 30 now and she's literally starting her life over. So in order to do that, she decides that she's going to move back to Colorado, where she is from, and she is going to just like find herself. Her mother passed away when she was a teenager and she was really into hiking. Like she loved hikes. She had all these journals where she documented all these hikes that she would take. So Aurora basically decides that she's going to go back to Colorado and she's going to take her mom's like hiking journal and she's going to do all of these hikes that her mom did and kind of like, you know, bond with her mother again, just like live her own life, do her own thing, whatever. So she has made arrangements to stay at this Airbnb for, you know, this certain amount of time. And when she arrives at the Airbnb, she realizes that it's not quite right. She's not the only person here. There's this other man inside of this building, and basically ends up figuring out that it is actually the home of this man named Tobias Rhodes, and his teenage son put up the guest house for rent without telling his dad, because his dad was like not supposed to be around for this certain amount of time. He thought he was gonna be sneaky and earn a little bit extra money, and Aurora took him up on the offer. So Tobias Rhodes, ultimate book husband of all time, like cannot tell me any different. He is very grumpy. He's a very grumpy man, and he is not at all willing to let this strange woman stay in his house. He's like, I'm sorry, sister, you gotta find somewhere else to go, like this isn't happening. And she basically like has to get down on two knees and beg him to let her stay. Like she has already planned this out. There's not many rentals available in this small little town. Like she needs a place to stay. Please, I will do anything. So after a lot of convincing, he agrees to let her stay for 1 month, but then after that, she's out. She's gotta find another place to go. So Aurora does move into this house, and now she is living on the same property as her very grumpy, very handsome mountain man landlord. And it's just so cute. It's so cute. It's got the single dad trope, which typically I wouldn't be into, but like this story is the exception to that. Like the whole like found family trope of this story, and just like seeing the absolute slowest of burns happen between this grumpy sunshine situation, the wintry aspects, like the whole setting of this story, I just adore. Tobias Rhodes is literally everything. Like he is the greatest bookman I've ever read, and like I'm willing to say that right now. Seriously, read this book this winter. Okay, and the other Mariana Zapata book we have to mention, because this is a winter book recommendation video, is From Lukov with Love. This story follows this girl named Jasmine that is a figure skater. She has worked her entire life to be a figure skater, and now she is kind of like in her mid-20s, kind of coming to what a lot of people would say is the end of her career, but she is absolutely determined to continue to skate. She wants to, you know, get awards, make it to the Olympics, do all the things. Like she puts skating #1 in her life, and she is like willing to sacrifice anything she can to be the best at it. So basically she trains at this complex that is owned by the Lukov family, and their son is this boy named Ivan that is just like legendary in figure skating. He is the absolute best. He skates in pairs and he has just killed it every single year. Like he is totally like world famous, but Jasmine cannot stand him. Like the two have butted heads the entire time they've known each other, like literally just like call each other names, like can't even be in the same room without an argument starting. Like she avoids him at all costs, but now she can no longer avoid him because Ivan is in need of a new skating partner. His partner is out of commission, he needs a new partner, and Jasmine has been offered the role by his coach. And Jasmine, as much as she hates this idea, hates the thought of having to spend time with Ivan, touch him, speak to him, work with him. Like, she hates it, but he's also her absolute best chance at achieving her goals, at getting far in figure skating, at making a name for herself. So like, she can't deny it would be an absolute idiotic idea to turn it down. So she ends up agreeing to be his partner. So this is very much like an enemies to lovers sports romance. This story is super cute. I love the ice skating aspect. I thought it was so different. It's so cute for winter. It is your typical Mariana Zapata book where it's a very slow burn. It takes a whole lot of pages for anything to happen, but like the buildup is so good, so cute. I love like all of the aesthetics of this book. Every time I see like a reel that's like the aesthetics or the Pinterest boards or whatever, like it's just so good. Like the ice skating romance with the partners, like so much tension. You got to be very close and you have to like trust your partner with everything you have, which is a little hard to do when you guys are like mortal enemies, but they make it work in the end, and it's so good. Okay, next, I absolutely have to talk about Lovelight Farms by BK Borison. I just really discovered BK Borison this year, and I am so hooked. She is so underrated. I follow her on Instagram. She's this indie author that has totally blown up recently, and it is so deserved. Like, her writing is just so good, so beautiful. Her stories are so freaking cute. Like, she is like the queen of small town romance, and I'm just like gonna read anything she decides to write. But basically, this story follows this girl named Stella that owns this Christmas tree farm in this really small town in Maryland called Inglewild. And she has found herself in a predicament because basically the farm is her dream. It has always been her dream. She opened it a year ago, and it is just like heaven on earth. She loves it every single day. Like, it is her passion. It is her baby. She loves it. But it has been struggling. They have been having some issues financially, and she just really needs to get more people through the door. So in an act of desperation, she basically decided to enter this competition put on by this social media influencer that basically likes to go around and show off small businesses, tell their story to get her followers to go and visit the businesses. So she enters this competition, but at the last minute as she's filling out her application, she just is like so desperate to be chosen that she's like, okay, why don't I spice up this story a little bit and say that I opened this Christmas tree farm with my boyfriend? Because this girl, she loves romance. She's a big fan of romance. All her stories that she tells really focus on, like, you know, love and all that. So she's like, maybe I'll have a better chance of winning if I include this. And so she is now a finalist for the competition, which means that this influencer is going to come and visit the farm, take photos, videos, post all about them on social media. So this is a very exciting thing, except Stella lied and she doesn't actually have a boyfriend. So she's found herself in a bit of a predicament, and she basically needs to find a boyfriend in the time it takes for this girl to get here. And because this is a small town and there are very limited options, she's basically forced to ask her best friend of like nearly a decade now, Luca, to pretend to be her fake boyfriend. And Luca, being the absolute sweetheart he is, immediately agrees. He's like, of course I'll do that for you. So obviously this is a little bit awkward because these two have been the closest of friends for a very long time. They have this like very deep love for each other, but they have never crossed that line. Like, it has always been entirely platonic between the two of them. So them now having to like pretend to be a couple in front of this influencer is like not gonna be the easiest thing. It's like a little bit stressful, a little bit awkward. It's also even more stressful because they live in this super small town where like everybody knows everybody. So the second anybody sees the two of them together, it's gonna be like, Stella, Luca, like what is happening here? So again, this is just like a super freaking cute story, like butterflies, rainbows. Luca is just like the absolute sweetest. Their friendship is so sweet. They're like gradual transition into like, okay, we're fake dating. Okay, like, why do I feel this way? Are you just doing this because we're pretending, or is this real? Like, everything that comes with a fake dating story that we absolutely love, like, it is done so well in this story. And it's got the whole like wintry, you know, aspect added in with the setting of the Christmas tree farm. It is so cute. And this is actually the first book in an entire series that follows characters that are in this small town, characters that work for this Christmas tree farm. It is so good. I'm on the third book right now and I am so obsessed. So definitely I recommend this one. Okay, for this next one, if y'all have watched me for any amount of time, you knew damn well we were not making it through this winter book recommendation video. without talking about this book. I mean, it's Credence by Penelope Douglas. Like, I love this book with my entire heart and soul, and I don't care who knows it. Like, it is my ultimate guilty pleasure. I will never stop recommending it, and probably it makes some people question my sanity, maybe even my credibility, and you know what I say to those people? Get a life, because I love this book. It's so wild though, so prepare yourself. This story follows this girl named Tiernan, and she has just gone through something tragic. Her parents have both suddenly passed away, and she is about a week away from turning 18, and she has no family to her knowledge. And so she's just like, okay, I guess I'm on my own now. Until she gets a call from this man that she has never met before, that's name is Jake. And he informs her that he is her dad's half brother. So they are not actually related, but he is technically, not really, but technically her uncle. And he lets her know that he heard what happened, and that he knows that she doesn't know him, and that him and her dad did not have a good relationship. They literally like barely spent any time together growing up, and when they did, they didn't get along. But she is more than welcome to come and stay with him in Colorado. She currently lives in California, but he's like, if you want, you know, you can fly out to Colorado, you can move in with me and my 2 sons, and like, you know, we're your family. You can come stay with us, but totally up to you. I just wanted to extend the offer. And so because Tiernan really doesn't have anywhere else to go, and she is literally just like on the verge of 18, she's like, okay, I guess I will do that. So she goes to stay with her uncle Jake and her 2 cousins, not blood related, I have to emphasize that, in their cabin in this little mountain town in Colorado where it gets snowed in 6 months out of the year. And let's just say craziness ensues. Like, there's a lot of things happening. Very spicy, very wild, very taboo, but honestly with like a very cute like found family trope and wholesome ending. Like, you're just gonna have to trust me. This is my ultimate winter book. Like, if I could read one book every winter, it would be this. And I'm gonna be rereading it sometime soon, because like that is the level of obsession I have with it, and I will die on this hill. I will die on this hill. I love this book so much. Nobody does it like Penelope Douglas, and I love her for it. But yeah, guys, those are all of the books I have to talk to you about today. If you've read any of these, I would love to hear all your thoughts down below. If you have any other winter recommendations, I always love them. I always love to add them to my list. Winter is just like the best time of year, in my opinion. I just love snuggling up with a blanket with my little fireplace ambiance on and just reading a good book. It is just the greatest time. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a great holiday season if you celebrate. If not, just have a good winter, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.